Boom. It is 12:01 p.m. Eastern time. So happy afternoon to those of you on the East Coast. Good morning to the rest of you in Central, Mountain, and Pacific time. Hope you guys are doing phenomenal this morning. I'm going to be short and sweet and to the point, but I really want you guys to hone in on a skill. I'm going to say a skill because some people believe that this is charisma or a characteristic or something you're born with or genetics or something that your environment can control. But I'm truly telling you, and I want to prove to you guys this morning and this afternoon that this is a skill that if you develop this skill, your network marketing business will not just boom, but every single area of your life, your spiritual life, your relationships, your social, everything. This will directly, if you focus on this one skill this morning and you hone in and you take notes on exactly what's about to go down, you directly apply it, I can promise you we will 10x your life here in the next 15 or 20 minutes or so. And so what I want to talk about here tonight, guys, is simply this. We're in the people business. The people business, right? This is a volunteer army. We're in the people business. No one forced you to hop on this call, all right? This isn't like Game of Thrones and I'm Jon Snow and you're in my army and it's like, get on my call. You know, that's not what this is. This is voluntary, which is why I love you guys, because we're packing these things out every single morning and every single night. But because this is voluntary and because this isn't an army, what does that mean you have to do? You've got to be likable. You have to be likable. If you notice that on certain people's calls, there are more people than other people, does it mean they've made more money? Not necessarily at all. Does it mean that they've been in this industry longer? No. Does it mean that simply they're best friends with that person? No. It means they're probably just more likable. People just like hopping on and listening to them. People just like hopping on, taking notes from them. People are just like, for some reason, when this person speaks, it resonates with my soul. It logically makes sense. I can practically apply it in my daily life. I can practically start making some serious money and helping other people with this. So what I want to tell you guys is a story, and you guys were, majority of you guys, hopefully were old enough for this voting process, but there was two candidature elections in a very recent election. It was Mitt Romney versus Barack Obama. And at this time, we're coming out of this 2008 ridiculous, insane, absolutely insane recession, aka a modern word for depression, okay? That's exactly all it was. It was a new terminology for the worst economy since 1900. That's pretty bad, okay? And with globalization and technology, it's inexcusable except for, honestly, greed. And so with that being said, in this election, regardless of where you voted or how, is completely irrelevant, but there was Mitt Romney and there was Barack Obama. And on one side of things, there were some polls that were going around. And it was obvious, 96% of people on ABC took a poll that said the number one issue in this election, I believe 2012 election, in the election was simply our economy. Everyone said that. Outside of the environment, outside of all of these other things, outside of simply spiritual preferences, outside of everything, it was the economy. So if the economy is the number one issue, and you have two candidates, you had someone who had grown up their whole life in government, and you had someone who had grown up their whole life in business. So they came out with a second poll. So obviously 96+% say this is the number one issue that we want to solve as American people with this presidential election. They came out with a poll, and the poll simply said is, who is the best potential president, the best candidate to fix our economy? Over 85%, there's over 10 million people that took this poll. This isn't like 100 people. Okay, over 85% said that Mitt Romney was the best president for our economy. And from just a financial side of things, it's kind of obvious he'd grown businesses and made billions of dollars, right? So it just kind of makes sense that that would be the best president for the number one problem at the current times for what everyone agreed on was the current issue. But as we know, the way the history books were written was completely different. Was absolutely completely different. And the reason why is simply this. After the election, all of these polls, the people couldn't understand, because before people step into the voting booth, there's only a few ways to be able to predict who actually is the president, and it's through these polls, right? It's through an understanding that You get enough people to take this poll, and it's a general good idea of exactly what's about to happen. And they're pretty accurate, actually, if you look back in history. And they were mind blown. They were mind blown at the end of the election when they saw that the person, that 85% of the people agreed that this person was the best person to solve the number one problem that 97% of people agreed on. Yet it was a 63-point landslide win in Barack Obama's favor. They were like, how is this possible? How are people saying that this is the number one issue and this is by far the best person to solve this issue, yet 63% of people didn't vote for that person? How is that happening? And so they started to look further into it, and the realization that they came to is simple. They put out another poll. And this poll, close to 100 million people actually weighed in on. And it said, which president cares about me the most? What potential president cares about me the most? And they agreed Barack Obama did. And so the reason why I'm telling you guys this is, it's not about the products you necessarily sell, although our travel portal is amazing. Hence, if you follow me on Insta Story, I'm very rarely ever not in an airplane. And I'm able to afford it, which is awesome. It's not just because of our amazing getaway trips, which if you continue to keep sharing our brand new customer video and liking it and commenting it and tagging people on it, we're going to hit those numbers so we can share a Lake Powell video with me tomorrow night on our skills call, because I really want to share this video with you. I really want to. I really, really want to, but we need to hit those numbers that Jamie talked about last night. I believe 250 likes and over 100 shares. We're getting there, so let's keep that up. But isn't that just fascinating? The person who cares about me the most. The person who cares about me the most. And so what I want to do is I'm going to play a short, quick video for you guys. It's just a couple minutes long, and then we're going to wrap this thing up with just a few points. Really, really weigh in and pay attention to this video. This video is absolutely incredible. It's only going to be a few minutes long. All right, it's only going to be, I'm not going to play the whole video, but it's a short excerpt clip on the law of likability. I want you to write that down. The law of likability and why it's so important.
I got recruited to play basketball from schools all over the country. And here's how I learned how to sell. College basketball coaches and football coaches in America are the greatest salesmen on this earth. And here's why. They don't sell tangible products. They sell hopes and dreams. Please, when you get back to your respective market, stop selling tangible products and start selling hopes and dreams. You must understand that people buy based on emotion. If you sell tangible products, you will be like everybody else. But if you learn how to sell hopes and dreams, coming to the $1 Million Round Table will be an annual pilgrimage. My doorbell rang and all these schools are coming in and out of my living room. The funny thing about this, they all were good, but after a while they all looked alike, acted like, and sounded just alike. They all traveled in packs of threes. They all had on university-issue golf shirts. They all hopped out the same exact rental car. They came into my living room. They always put down a colorful brochure on the coffee table. They always had one Asian and one African American on the cover of the brochure. And that's when I learned the word propaganda. You're trying to convince me that Iowa is diverse. And after a while, they all looked alike, acted alike, and sounded just alike. At 17 years old, I went to my mom, I went to my dad, and said I had to make a tough decision, but they all look just alike. At 17 years old, I was begging for someone to differentiate. I don't know about you, but I hate making tough decisions. I hate making tough decisions. I love no-brainers. When I make no-brainers, I don't second-guess my decisions. When I have to make a tough decision, I always have this thought in the back of my head that I'll make the tough decision. There's people in your community, when they're looking for a financial advisor, they don't want to make a tough decision. When you come into their home, when you leave their office, your presence should be a no-brainer. As soon as you leave, they should say this: I have found my financial advisor, I have found my insurance agent, because it is a no-brainer. One day my luck changed. The doorbell rang, and there was a man standing at my door named Clem Haskins from the University of Minnesota. He did not travel in a pack of three. He did not have on a university-issued golf shirt. He came into my house, three-piece suit, fresh haircut, looked like success, looked like money. For the life of me, I can't figure out why a financial advisor would come into someone's home and not look like success and not look like money. Let me help you out. If you're going to come into my house and try to convince me to give you my money to manage, you should look like you have some money yourself. Coach Haskins came into my living room, three-piece suit, looked like success, looked like money, and walked into my house with confidence. He saw me on the couch, did not acknowledge my presence. He went in the kitchen, started talking to my mom first. He found out my mother is a native of Kentucky. Coach Haskins is a native of Kentucky. He stood in that kitchen, and all he talked about was Kentucky. Oh, he was good. Oh, he was smooth. He found out my mother was a native of Kentucky. All he talked about was red dirt and bluegrass. He found out my mother's best friend in college was his wife's first cousin. In 30 minutes, he had my mom eating at the palm of his hands and never talked about anything technical. He got done with my mom and went in the den and started talking to my dad. He said, Mr. Bond, I run my program with order. My dad ran his high school with order. Mr. Bond, I run my program with discipline. He ran his high school with discipline. He said, Mr. Bond, I don't know about you, but I'm a country boy from down south. I'm watching this man work my parents over. He said, I don't know about you, Mr. Bond, but I'm a country boy from down south. And I might lose you right now, Mr. Bond, because most coaches will come in here and lie to you and guarantee you some playing time. Not me, Mr. Bond. Where I come from, there is no free ice cream, Mr. Bond. I don't know about you, Mr. Bond, but I'm a country boy from down south. And if your son plays for me, he will get nothing free. He must earn his playing time. When he said that, my dad started drooling out the side of his mouth. My mom and dad were wrapped around his finger. As for me, I'm ready for this man to leave my house. You've been in my house for 40 minutes and you've not said one word to me? If you think my parents can help you win basketball games, give them a scholarship. And he finally looked at me and he says, Walter Bond, all state from Chicago. And I kind of perked up. You're the key, son. You are the key. If I get you to my program, you are the key. He didn't sell me a tangible product. He sold me a hope and a dream. And all of a sudden,
all right, we'll go ahead and stop there. I'll post that link in there so you guys can finish that last 3 minutes because it's absolutely incredible. But notice what he said. He didn't sell me a tangible product. He sold me a hope and a dream. Long story short, Walter made that decision to go to Minnesota. He crushed it, absolutely murdered it there. And he took that coach who was a losing coach into a Hall of Fame coach because of that one decision, because he stood out, because he understood the law of likability. He understood also something I want to talk to you guys about this morning, who to talk to. He understood his audience. And so a lot of you guys right now, you need to understand your audience. If you're speaking to someone between the ages of 18 and 30 years old, know your audience. Know what video to send them. Know if you're them, what do you want to see? What do you want to hear? Right? I love how he talked about when he talked about his mom. What's the one thing he found? She was a native from Kentucky. What did he talk about? Kentucky. Kentucky. I don't know about you, right? I don't know about you, but I'm a country boy from down south. Because who did he know he was talking to? He was talking to his dad. And then when he was talking to Walter, what did he say? You're the key. Because he knew he had to make him feel important. He understood the law of likability. And as you continue to watch the rest of that video, when the coach leaves, the coach from Minnesota leaves, and they start talking about him, they start simply talking about how much they loved him because of how much he loved them, how much he helped them, how much he talked about them. As humans, we tend to judge ourselves on our intentions, but we tend to judge others on their actions. I would encourage you to flip-flop that. I'll say that one more time. As humans, we tend to judge ourselves on our intentions and others on their actions. Let's start judging ourselves on our actions and others on their intentions. Let's start understanding this law of likability. We're in this people business. Trust is like a bank account. The more likable you are, the more friends that you have, the more prospects you have flowing in your business, the more trust you're going to start gaining. The more personal enrollments you have, the more people are trusting that you're presenting them an opportunity, a vehicle for success, a product line, a community of positive, like-minded people. Trust. There's a trust that's built there. And trust is like a bank account. You can make withdrawals and you can make deposits. If you make too many withdrawals, you can be overdrawn in your trust. So understand, as you're learning this law of likability, as you're going out there and you're understanding how to not find yourself in a situation with the best product, with an amazing company, with amazing leadership and mentorship, but you might get clobbered in the polls like Mitt Romney did because you're not understanding. At the end of the day, people work with people that care about them. People work with people that are like them. People work with people that take time to get to know them. People work with people that they can trust. And you can't overdraw on your trust. You can't get out of bankruptcy with trust. You can't just be in debt and credit card debt and call the bank like, oh, sorry, we're gonna have to close this one down. It's not gonna work that way. That's not how it works with people. So my call to action is simply this. Likability creates trust, and trust must be handled carefully. So handle it carefully. Go out there and tonight, we have an opportunity call. We have our opportunity call on our Tuesday night. And so my call to action is for you to take some of these things. Take what you found in that video. Take the story from Romney. Understand what can happen as you start to become more likable. As you start getting more interested in other people instead of being interesting yourself. And use that to send out invites now, directly after this call, to tonight. And so my call to action for those of you guys that have still stuck this thing out and that are still on here 19 minutes later is simply this. Go post on the Facebook page. Whatever your first name is, Christian, will have one new person on tonight's opportunity call. If this resonated with you and you want to make that commitment, post in our Facebook page. Nasu will have one new person on tonight's opportunity call. Ashlyn will have one new person on tonight's opportunity call. Katie, Joey, Keith, Nicole, Nate, Brittany, Gus, Ariana. You guys get the picture? We'll have one new person on tonight's opportunity call. Just so you guys know as well too, one of my mentors and hopefully one of your mentors as well too, Mr. Rob Sperry, dropped his brand new book this morning, The Game of Networking. A third of this content was actually out of his first 2 chapters with the law of likability. Some things that I've learned from him in person, but is now on paper. So in the Facebook page, I'm going to post a link to it to go check out his new book if you guys want to go get it. The Game of Networking. It is directly related to network marketing, how to grow your business. It's a phenomenal book. I would strongly, strongly, strongly recommend going out there and getting it. I'll post a link to this video as well too so you can finish it up. Mr. Bond, country man from Kentucky, is killing it. I appreciate you guys. Let's go be likable. Love you guys. Have a great rest of your day. Peace out, Watauga fam.